Oh, it's time. Time to get radical.
Viewer discretion is advised.
Welcome to Radical Comment of the Week for April 7th through the 13th. These are the best comments of that 7-day period. There are 3 honorable mentions, the first coming to us from Jose Mendez. A question I wish he would answer, talking about Dreamcast Guy. Why does he hide trophies and achievements? Is he hiding progression trophies so people don't know he doesn't finish all the games, even though he said you can't review a game without finishing it, but reviews Dragon Quest XI admitting he was midway through it, but he did a review anyway, wants to say he's done the same on other games? 2. Piranha Plant incident, and why did he unlist the video, never wants to talk about it, and not apologize for it? 3. Did he really play the leaked demo of Final Fantasy VII Remake, or did he lie about it? He dodged the question at a Spawncast when they started talking about not knowing how to hack a PS4. Then they stated talking about the PS4 being hard to hack, but he didn't give a simple yes or no answer. And finally, the PS5 specs, did he make that up, or was he really tricked, and why didn't he fact check with more people before doing it? Thank you, Jose Mendez. Frag Taster. Hey Rick, I really don't know why Max, Dreamcast Guy, actually wants us to think he has a North American physical copy of Final Fantasy VII Remake weeks early. I have some YouTube friends who got their review copies. They were all digital codes. So the only way he could have gotten a physical North American copy a week and a half early was to illegally acquire it from an unscrupulous game store by using his YouTube clout to get him an unfair under-the-table copy before the official street date. This, of course, shouldn't surprise anyone who's been following this story, as a few months ago, Dreamcast Guy hacked his PS4 and downloaded a pirated copy of a Final Fantasy IV Remake demo months before its release. He apparently thought it was a bright idea to make a YouTube video about it with the sole intent of bragging that he got to play the game before anyone else, and rubbing it in the face of fans who had been eagerly waiting to play it. And he did this even after the game's publisher explicitly told him not to download the pirated game. A real up-and-up guy that Dreamcast Guy is, breaking the law twice and bragging about it, just to prove he thinks he's better than all of us, who have to wait for the game to release because we aren't children with no self-control or moral compass. He's not only a dirty pirate, he's a dirty pirate who openly breaks the rules and thinks he's better than you while he does it. Arr! Thank you, Frag Taster. The third and final honorable mention comes to us from Mr. GameCube. He always creates misleading videos. Again, talking about Dreamcast Guy. He uploaded a video talking about how the PlayStation 5 is in trouble, all because of some rumor that started on Twitter. Here's how I replied, just in case he deletes it. Microsoft has no software available for the Xbox One at this time. The last major title on the console was Gears 5 back in September. Sony had Yakuza Remastered Collection in January, Dreams in February, Neo 2, MLB The Show 2, and Persona 5 Royal in March, Final Fantasy VII Remake in April. Why should Sony announce their next generation console? It seems to me that Sony would rather focus on their massive library of PS4 before moving on to PlayStation 5. Also, you can't forget about Nintendo, who released Tokyo Mirage Sessions, Encore in January, Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Rescue, Team DX, and Animal Crossing New Horizons in March, along with an indie showcase and Direct Mini. They also have Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition in May, possibly. When you consider what Sony and Nintendo have going on right now, there is no need for Sony to reveal the PlayStation 5, nor Nintendo to reveal a Switch Pro at this time. Microsoft, on the other hand, needs to reveal and talk about the Xbox Series X as much as possible to stay relevant, as they have no software to compete with Sony and Nintendo. Also, Nintendo didn't reveal much about the Switch until a month and a half before launch. We knew what the hardware was locked in months ago, but nothing on the specifications until the Switch was about a month and a half before launch, so Sony might be taking a similar approach. Have you ever thought about that? Probably not. Don't expect someone who serves fake news to have a brain. Now it's time to go for the gold. Here we are in the medal ceremony. First up, we got the bronze medal coming to us from Boston Rock Spot. Unfortunately, there are plenty of channels who feel they are immune to criticism and will only accept praise and worship in their comment sections. They do plenty of criticizing towards others, warranted or not, yet the second they get called out or criticized, they drop the banhammer or resort to middle school level name calling, thinking they're so high and mighty that they're untouchable. They also leave comments on videos critical towards them because they can't handle taking it on their own videos on their own channels. It's sad. No one is immune to criticism. Ever been told to your face that you're the worst? I bet no one on here, small channel or large, would know how to handle that. I've been there. When I DJ'd radio, any public appearance I made had not only had a lot of loyal listeners, but also had a lot of haters show up. A few during that time made it known what they thought of me or the station I worked for in person right to my face. I never let it bother me. At the time, I had said, I'm up here and you're not, so I'm doing something right, and just brushed it off and didn't take it personally. When I let my overinflated ego get the best of me, I crashed and burned and I was finished. Keyboard warriors don't bother me, but some of these guys take it so personally. Try having a lot of this stuff said to you in person, and I'd love to see you fragile soy boys deal with it, rather than trying to be a tough guy behind a keyboard or camera. Reasonable people can disagree reasonably. That last phrase is a lot of what's behind this channel. The idea that reasonable people can disagree reasonably. You said you were a DJ, and you made public appearances, and maybe you had an ego, maybe you were high on yourself. You had your fans there, but you had your critics. I think there should be a balance, okay? You have fans because obviously, some of what you were doing was right. But you have critics, you had haters, you might call them. Maybe there were haters, maybe there were some critics, I'm not sure. It's not exactly like YouTube, but we can draw parallels. Well, I take it to sometimes, whenever possible, listen to critics that come here. There are haters, but sometimes there might be a grain of truth. On a rare occasion, maybe a hater might say or something like that. If I'm talking about maybe something that maybe I 100% have not studied front, back, and sideways, it's possible. Like I said, I only spend a couple hours on YouTube a day, so it's really possible. There's some things, though, where I'm like, okay, I'm always going to hit that shit out of the park. Certain topics, I'm always going to hit that one out of the park. But when I branch out, sometimes people might say like, hey, you know what? You were wrong talking about that wrestling promotion or that video game or something like that. I'm like, okay, I'll hear you out. I think it's how you got to be. And you said you crashed and burned. Well, maybe it could be possible. I'm not saying it is because I didn't know that. Possibly could you have listened to some of that criticism back then? I don't know if it would have made a big effect on how things ended up ultimately. But criticism is here for a reason. It's here for everybody. There's nobody. No one is God. No one is above all the criticism. But you can definitely fight back against it if you feel it's unfair. Thank you, Boston Rock Spot. The silver medal comes to us today from Haddamton Rose. Well, I would rather say it comes to us from 2 months ago, but let's just pretend. Let's just pretend, because I got to get fucking caught up. I know that. Hampton Rose says, I tried to cater to the hate crowd, and it seemed to work, but I honestly stopped caring. If I hate something, I can talk about it for a video, or maybe two, but I can't do what they do. 300 videos about how they hate Brie Larson. She's a hypocrite and annoying, but after that, who cares? After that, who cares? I used to be in the group, and when it started, they all seemed different and were good time wasters. But after a while, when they all started playing in the algorithm, I'd see all their videos one after the other in my subfeed, and they were all the same damn video. And they were even reading the same bloody articles, so I picked my favorite one and dumped the rest. Then I dumped the last one just before Rise of Skywalker was going to be released because I knew it would be hundreds of videos about how he hated the movie. I didn't want that negativity in my view, so I unsubbed from him. Negativity these people put out in the world is so powerful that there is nothing left of them, just their negativity. Some of them literally can't enjoy anything, not even older stuff. They just hate so much that even the things they once loved, they now have turned their backs on them. After Last Jedi came out, all of them, every last one praised how much they loved Ahsoka. Damn it. Sorry I can't pronounce that correctly. I think I know how to pronounce it, but I forgot. from Clone Wars. Disney had given them that character back. Now they hate her. They all praised Kevin Feige and the MCU. The second Captain Marvel came out, and they all hate it. There's a second Captain Marvel? Was it the first? I don't know. You mean the first Captain Marvel? I don't know. I know there's 2 in the works. I don't know if it's out yet. Maybe it already came out. I'm not sure. There's love and hate in the world. People can love things. People can hate things. Sometimes people can hate a series they used to love because they changed it around so much. And I think there's a place for everything. But I mean, you should always have a balance. I can see it. I can see how a lot of people hate things that Brie Larson has said. They hate a lot of what she stands for. They call her hypocrite. They call her annoying. I get it. I understand it. But I think also probably that she has good qualities. She can't just be a completely evil person. I mean, like I saw her on Hot Wings. You know that show where they get celebrities to eat hot wings? And I was thinking to myself, well, there's some things about her that I could find redeemable. Outside of like her look, she doesn't look that bad. You know? I would wager a guess that to a lot of these people, to a lot of these males, if she just, plopped down on their knee and said, "How's your day going?" they might forget all that hate. Because at some point, guys, okay, there's a lot of people out there that, let's just call it as it is. There's a lot of neckbeards on this platform that are probably a little angry that they could probably never get with somebody that looks like a Brie Larson. I mean, she looks above average. She does, right? I'll just be honest here. I mean, she's probably not my cup of tea, looks-wise, but she's an actress. She's a Hollywood actress. So I'm just saying here, drop her maybe in the lap of someone like the Quartering. And I know he's with somebody probably right now, but you drop her in his lap. Let's see what happens. Let's see if he could still keep up the criticism. Let's see if he could still keep up the videos. And I wonder a lot of these people, if they ever had to actually meet with her and say these things to her, I wonder if they could still do it. That's another thing, right? Sometimes people will come here and they'll say, "Rick, you're just a hateful channel. You're just a hater. That's all you are." But if you follow the channel for a while, you focus on many times where I'm laughing, I'm joking, I'm talking about things that I love. Fucking love Progresso soup. I love Spray Away glass cleaner. I love Chips Ahoy cookies. I know I talked about it on the other channel. But you just got to balance it. And I know probably with the algorithms, maybe a lot of these channels like the Quartering, they know what they're doing. I know they know what they're doing. They have 17 uploads on Brie Larson saying exactly the same things, not being entertaining while they're doing it, nothing different. To what goal, to what end, you might say. And some people might say, well, that's fine if you have an overriding goal of it. What would be the Quartering's goal? Like, do you have something set? Do you have a goal? Like, if you're just going to be doing the same things as thousands of other channels repeating the same things, then what is your goal? Okay. All right. Thank you, Hampton Rose. Here we are. We have arrived at the gold comment of this week. Who's it coming from? Well, none other than Terra Nigma. Retro gaming YouTubers can be some of the most entitled, egotistical, fragile creators on the platform. Not that people like that don't exist elsewhere, but it seems like there's a high concentration of them in the retro gaming bubble. They always want people to go to them first, to DM them before they're criticized on a video. Why? Because people need to ask permission to be critical now? How does that even make any sense? No one is going to say okay to being criticized. I hate talking about JBH, but this is a good example because he made a video after Rich uploaded his video about him saying that Rich shouldn't have messaged him before making the video, that he thought that they were friends. He should have come to him first. Oh yeah? Then what? Was he going to justify to Rich how criticism equals hate equals okay to falsely copyright strike other people's channels? Or was he going to say how people have been mean to him and that he was tired that day? Or that he was going to say he was instructed by an associate of his to false copyright strike creators, and censoring the comment section would make it all go away? The reality is that a lot of these creators have a very loyal, ignorant fan base who in most cases don't care whether they false copyright strike other channels, or whether they delete comments critical of them, or whether they say one thing and do another, or care that they're being misled. This isn't restricted to just the retro gaming YouTubers, of course. Sheep are in abundance in many channels and will often look up to lunatics and downright shitty people as role models and believe everything that they tell them. Wow, okay. Let's see here. First thing you say is true. YouTubers can be some of the most entitled, egotistical, fragile creators on the platform. They can be. There's a bubble. There's a retro gaming bubble. You remember when Metal Jesus got mad? There was that one guy, Pixels, the fuck his name? You know, the guy that did all those Soulja Boy uploads? I forget his name right now. Metal Jesus left a comment, something like, what did he say? You got that first? How did you get that? You know? Did you pay for that? Is that what it was? Yeah, Metal Jesus said like, hey, did you pay for that? It was fucking hilarious. Right? And I might have got that wrong. Criticize me in the comment section down below if I got that wrong. I can't exactly remember. But he was just shocked that he got that before him. Fragile creators. Exactly. Egotistical, fragile. They think they're the fucking center of the universe. They live in their little retro gaming bubble. So, of course, when someone like me comes along, late 2018, 2019, with a sharp needle, popping that bubble, it was easy. Just like a bubble, a growth on your arm, it was easy for someone like me to just come into this bubble and go, okay, pop, 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 pop all of your bubbles, right? And could you blame me? Could you blame me? I have a fucking field day with these people. Could you blame me? But think about it. How much help have I given a lot of these people? How much has my criticism helped them be better people, create better uploads, have better channels? That's one thing that people overlook. People just say, oh, that Radical Rick guy, he's a hater. But there's truth in what I have to say about these YouTubers, specifically the retro gaming YouTubers and that bubble. Just outside of the e-begging aspect, okay? Just outside of the e-begging, just focused on this. And you talk about the situation we had when Review Tech USA did something good. He did something good for the platform, bless his heart, but then he took that shit away. Took it away. He shined a light on the copyright strikes of John Hancock, who had been going on a fucking tear with his copyright strikes on YouTube of critical videos. Went on a tear, right? But then Review Tech USA used himself as an example, and even mentioned me by saying, you know, well, I could go out here and copyright strike. Sorry. I could go out here and I could copyright strike Radical Rick videos, but, you know, I don't do that. He didn't say it in the video, but somebody pointed to me when he said that in a live stream. Which, okay, you know, fair enough, right? Fair enough, right? So Review Tech USA has been down that road. Ironically, though, Rich is actually false copyright struck, or he showed his flagging history to Keemstar, but we won't talk about that. So he's a bit of a hypocrite. But in this instance, he was trying to put John Hancock on blast for that, or criticize him in a video. John Hancock was shocked, had a reply video to him, you know, like, I thought we were friends. What's going on here? You can't even trust your friends, you know?